Welcome everyone to another edition of Stepping Up to the Plate. I'm your host, Michael Vega. So glad you could join us. A lot to discuss today with the ouster of the Celtics from the playoffs. Last time, my main man Al Prizzuti and I were here. We were discussing with great hope about the playoff potential and possibly the path that had been carved for the Celtics to get to the NBA Finals. And sadly, that will not come to pass. Miami Heat provided the final obstruction and eliminated the Celtics in 7 games, and we'll get more into that. But graduation season is upon us here in Milton, and at the outset, I just want to send my heartfelt salutations and well wishes to the Milton High graduating class of 2023, of which my own son, Noel Vega, will be a part of. On Sunday, the festivities, which will be carried live here on Milton Access TV in HD, by the way. We'll be broadcasting that here for the entirety of the event for everyone in town. And so congrats go out to Shane Brandenburg and Tom Pilla and Brandon Primo, Ted Omo, to everyone who will be involved. And looking forward to seeing my son get up there and receive his diploma. He was a part of a great theater group production recently that wrapped up a successful run at Milton High under the direction of Stephen and Laura Markarian. Did a fabulous job in the production of Mamma Mia, and it was outstanding Broadway quality. Let me tell you, everyone was on their feet at the end, not just clapping, but singing and dancing in the aisles. I kid you, I was doing the same, and just unbelievable quality of the production. And the thing that you come away with is like, wow, those are high school students. Those kids are unbelievably talented. And I was just so thrilled to see my own son involved in that as well. And a lot of great performances. Owen Creamer, Atticus D'Alessandro, I think, of course, Priya Shah and Greta Cardoza, and just another couple names, escape me, but it was Rowan O'Connor and my own son Noel played for comedic effect, Pepper and Eddie, so it was something that stays with you. The music stays with you the whole time too, but at any rate, kudos to them for a job well done. Job well done, folks. And I also want to extend a shout out to a lot of the Milton High seniors, the athletes who have wrapped up their careers, and some of whom will still be participating in some postseason play. Wanted to start out by acknowledging the girls' tennis team who will be hosting Marblehead on Friday at 4 p.m. in the first round of the MIA state tournament. The baseball team, the Division II defending champions, we've hardly spoken about them, Al, but they're 17-3. They went, they were the number 1 seed in the Division II power rankings, and they will be hosting at least the first 2 rounds here at Cunningham Park. We'll know more by the end of the day today what their schedule and bracket will look like. But congratulations to Coach Brendan Morrissey and to the captains of that team for doing a great job. The softball team went 7-8, finished 24th in the power rankings. Congratulations to them. Unbelievable performance by the boys lacrosse team, Al. They went 9-9 this season, which was a marked improvement over years past. First time they finished with a non-losing record. which is an achievement in and of itself. But the way they did it was in a 9-8 overtime win against Framingham, in which Ian Wick scored 2 goals, and including the game winner in overtime on a feed from Luke Haley, who also had 2 goals and 2 assists. So congratulations to the boys lacrosse team for a job well done there, and looking forward to more success from them. And then, of course, the Division III track wrapped up this weekend with a number of notable performances from Milton athletes. In the girls' side, Katie O'Toole distinguished herself with a first place in the 800 in an 800-meter dash in 2 minutes, 21.15 seconds, and then came back and finished 4th in the mile in 5 minutes and 7.61 seconds. And then there was Lucy Asanza, who finished 4th in the pentathlon with 2,320 points. And then the girls 4x400 was second in 4:06.97. Then the 4x800 was also second in 9:46.41. And then in the 400 hurdles, Milton had 3 athletes finish 4th, 5th, and 6th. Sadie Ruth, Lydia Turner, and Kai Quinones, 4th, 5th, and 6th respectively in that event. And the Wildcats wound up finishing 3rd overall with 52 points behind Billerica with 82 and Mansfield with 64.75. On the boys' side, notable performances were submitted by Moses Mann, who had a 3rd in the 400 in 58 seconds. In the mile, Alec Carew was 3rd with 4:26.01. And in the triple jump, Big Liam Faraday, number 77 on your football roster, he finished 1st in the triple jump out. 44.25 inches was the leap by Big Liam. Congratulations to him. I love him. And as a team, the Wildcats finished 4th on the boys' side with 42 points. So congratulations to everybody. Congratulations to those seniors who will be graduating on Sunday at Brooks Field. And you can catch it here on Milton Access live and in HD. How about that? It's going to be unbelievable. So, Al, if you got nothing to do, you can watch Noel, go across the stage there. But congratulations to all of them. So that's the feel-good story of today. But now it's time to kind of address the elephant in the room, Al. The Boston Celtics. Oh, my God. Where do we start, Al?
Well, I mean, I think they helped themselves by winning those 3 games. I think everybody was embarrassed that they went down 3-0, losing the first 2 in Boston.
Yeah.
And then they came back with an incredible 6th game. I mean, that was a fun game to watch. Obviously, from the Celtics standpoint, it was a fun game to watch. But, to win 4 in a row against Jimmy Butler. But I will say this, I watched that game. Caleb Martin,
Yeah.
although he didn't score more points than Jimmy Butler, he scored the most, like a dagger, every time.
Yeah.
He was, to me, the star of the game. They wouldn't have won that game without him.
Unbelievable.
And he's an undrafted player.
Yeah.
So you know what? The Celtics had some concerns with Jason Tatum in the first minute getting hurt. Brogdon didn't play. Robert Williams was, I guess, sick.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, they had some concerns there, but I think overall Brown really hurt them because he was the guy that needed to step up,
Yes.
and he didn't.
Yeah.
But you know what? To step up in one game, one big game, everybody makes a deal out of it because he's probably going to be looking for a lot of money. Still,
he's entitled to it after making the NBA.
Yeah, so I mean, if you look at it, I mean, Tatum and Brown are 2 decent players. I mean,
Together,
which to build a team on. So is White.
Yeah.
White.
Oh my God, he elevated himself to immortal status here in Boston. I thought the way he played throughout the entire series, but the fact that he saved that game for them.
Well, he almost won the game for them. They weren't even in that game, but he was the only player really had 18 points in that game at the last game. But what people forget is he's the guy that threw the ball in.
Yes, he started the sequence and finished it.
He threw the ball in,
Yes.
and Marcus. You got to give Marcus credit because
He did not dribble it. He took a
up
shot.
over that
Right.
kid. He was well above that kid, and that thing went in and out. But if you watched White, as soon as he passed it in, he cut for the basket.
He had a clear path.
And I will say this, if the ball came on the other side, Jason
Jason Tatum
Tatum
was
was
there.
coming on the other side.
Yeah.
So they might have got it both.
Eric Spoelstra says at the end of that game, Game 6, soul-crushing loss for the Miami Heat.
I didn't think so. I thought it was a
Well,
crushing loss.
in the
meaning-
moment.
In the moment,
yeah, I would say.
But
I think that, with Boston Celtics coming back home for a Game 7 in front of that crowd, all they needed was the Celtics was to pull the trigger on that hand grenade and to let the clip go and do something to ignite the crowd, because then they would have had the momentum that they needed to carry them through.
Two things. One thing that I think
But so
is
many
the
things
difference with
conspired
that
against
team
them. Yeah.
and even the Heat. Because the Heat with the 8th seed, which incidentally, so was the Florida Panthers, the 8th seed in the NHL.
And I was going to address that with you later,
But the thing is, Jimmy Butler is a stabilizer.
yeah,
The guys look to him, and
he's a closer.
well, not only is he a closer, but he's the guy that said, that's fine, we lost the game, but we got another shot, we're coming up. He said, and he told him, he said, we're going to win that game.
Yeah.
So he's kind of like what Kachuk did to the Panthers when
Correct.
he said, we'll come back here to Boston, and they did.
Yeah.
Now, they lost 3 games. That's kind of fascinating in a way. The Heat won 3 games at TD Garden. They won the first and second and the 7th. And the Panthers won 3 games against the Bruins at the Garden.
Yeah.
Which I think is first time I've ever seen that happen.
Correct.
I wasn't disappointed. I was disappointed that they lost. I wasn't. If it was a close game and they lost, it would be a heartbreak. But they weren't in the game.
No.
They got beat from the start.
Here's the existential question here that's being raised now: is what do the Celtics do to get back, but can they run it back with the same cast of characters? And I say no. And I think you have to start with their coach, because at the end, Al, in Game 7, he had no alternative solution to their failed, I think, bid to win this game via the three-point shot.
You know what?
They relied too much on it and it was funny because Chris Gasper, kudos to my colleague at the Globe, wrote in his column this morning that here's math for you. 3's greater than 2, yes, but 2's better than 0. I kept saying to myself, why are they coming down and jacking up threes?
That's not so much the coach. That's the players.
Well, that's the player, but the coach has to tell them,
well,
we want 2s.
Yeah, but when
there's an open... Let's get into the paint.
The problem is how they got to where they were was with 3s.
And here's the issue too, Al. That the guy who consistently could get into the paint to draw fouls, to draw attention, and to kick it out to create open shots was Jason Tatum. And Tatum, when in that first minute, bad omen when he turns that ankle, because you could see he was laboring throughout the rest of the game, and it was getting worse for him.
Right, so they knew when he was hurt, because he was struggling on defense as well, that Brown needed to come in. White was the guy who took the gauntlet. Yeah. White became Jason Tatum. And so had they had White and Brown, they might have made a run for it. But without those two, I mean, and you had Brogdon. Brogdon's a player, and he was out. He had the arm thing. Right. You had Williams, who, see, I watch these games and I say, well, what is wrong? The Heat went to the basket almost all the time. And when they go to the basket, they not only will draw the foul, but sometimes they get a 3-point out of it. Yeah. And the Celtics never do that.
Here was
they just shoot the threes.
Here was the infuriating thing for me, and it took them 3 games to figure this out, was that Jimmy Butler at will got into the paint. He either backed himself in there, or he dribble penetrated into the paint, and then would get to the basket, get to the rim, and if he got to the rim, he was either scoring the ball or dishing it or getting a foul.
Dishing it to an open guy.
Open guy. In the first 2 games, that was Gabe Vincent, and he was knocking him down. And then they also had Strus. He was knocking him down. Then they had Caleb Martin. He was knocking him down.
Well, the other kid, Robinson, almost lost the game
for
them.
Yeah,
the 6th game, he lost. Yeah. He had 2 open threes.
He was redeemed by the team on Game 7.
Different sides.
Yeah.
But Caleb Martin shot 60% from the field.
Unbelievable.
He shot over 40% from 3-point land.
And the Celtics, meanwhile, combined Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown made a combined 18 three-pointers for the series, almost as many, if not exactly as many, as Derek White made by himself, playing limited minutes, in that time.
Well, if Mazzullo turned around and said, and I'm sure they're going to be talking about this, we got to stop taking 43s a game.
But
we got to go to the basket.
It seemed like he was advocating it.
No,
that's
I
the
don't.
thing to me.
I
Is
don't,
live by the three, we're going to die by the three.
Yeah, but these guys here, they're all egomaniacs. When they get an open three, they're going to take it because they think three is better than two. And it's unfortunate, but if you look at it, only 38% of the time does a three go in.
Yeah.
That's not
it's
50.
Yeah, they call it a make or miss league, but you know what? Unfortunately for the Celtics, they missed more than they made.
Especially when
and
you're
that was their downfall.
See, the mentality when they're down as much as they were down by 17.
They're trying to
cut down to 3 threes, and now you're only
they're down
8.
15, and they come up shooting threes, trying to get all 15 back in five flicks of the wrist.
The problem with the 3 too is if you don't get back and the team fast breaks on you,
then
they get the 2, you miss the 3. They get the 2, you miss the 3, and now they've scored 4 points to your none.
Right, exactly, and that's what happened there in the second half, where the Heat lead just grew exponentially. And
I think the big question for the Celtics is going to be Brown because he's looking for a lot of money, and he deserves a lot.
Well, he
deserves
due,
money.
I mean, he's due for a big supermax contract that will put him in the range of $250 million.
The other thing is, I think Robert Williams is an athlete, he's a star. The problem with Robert Williams is he's injury prone.
Correct.
He always has been injury prone, so you never know when he's going to be in the
Horford?
lineup. Well, Al Horford is he's on the back nine, so to speak, if you want to use a golf term, and he hurt them a little with the shooting. He was stolid on defense. He made a couple of plays where he blocked a shot, and for a guy his age to play as good defense, I think I think he'll come back as a role more in less of a role that he played this year. But, Marcus Smart, I think, helped himself in the series, all 7 games. Well, he helped himself. He can't shoot.
Wait a minute. Can I ask for some ID over here?
Yeah.
Can I ask? This is the guy who never liked Marcus Smart.
Well, let me put it this way. Marcus Smart, I always liked the way he played. What I didn't like was when he'd be the guy who took the threes.
You know what? He took an open 3 at the end of Game 6, and I had no qualms with that shot. No qualms with that because he had been making those.
He played better than I think he is. There's a lot of guys that don't.
Heart and soul of that team. Heart and soul, like Jimmy Butler is the heart and soul of.
Not quite a Jimmy Butler, but
he's not quite the finished product. Near. But you know what? I love his grit.
Jimmy Butler had ice in his.
I love Grant Williams' grit. I love how Grant Williams went nose to nose with Jimmy Butler.
Well,
nobody else on that team did.
Well, I could have put anybody out there to do. That's Jim Leskatoff. Go out there and get in somebody's face. But look at what Jimmy Butler did in the 6th game.
Yeah.
He gets the 3 on that play, not a 2. He gets a 3. He goes to the line. He sinks 3 like he had ice in his veins. They didn't even hit the rim.
Unbelievable. And so now the NBA Finals matchup is set. It'll be the Miami Heat against the Denver Nuggets, and now I predict that the Nuggets are going to just absolutely kill these guys.
Well, you know what?
Because I think this is the matchup the Nuggets really wanted. They didn't want any part of the Celtics, although the Celtics, if they had managed to survive the 7-game crucible against the Heat, I think they had nothing left in the tank because that was 3 consecutive 7-game series that took a piece of flesh out of them each time.
I will say this, though. The Heat won with an entire cast.
They did.
I mean, Vincent and Caleb Martin and Robinson are all undrafted players that contributed throughout the series. The Celtics have nobody other than Brown and Tatum and maybe Marcus that contributed in every game.
Right. Well, and here's the thing: the Nuggets are a complete team, and they're led by former MVP Nikola Jokic, who has got unbelievable handle for a big 7-footer, can shoot it inside out. He's got great court awareness. He can make passes like out the back of his head like Larry Bird did. No less than LeBron James said that this guy's a special guy. There's not a lot of these guys with these kind of talents. And
He won that series himself.
And he's surrounded. Oh, no doubt. And he's surrounded by a lot of talented players.
Yeah.
Aaron Gordon, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr. I mean, these are guys that are going to present problems for the Heat.
I think the Heat, though, will surprise a lot of people for two
Gabe
reasons.
Vincent will not be able to be on that court.
Yeah, but
neither will Kyle Lowry. So now that takes two guys out of the mix.
Yeah, but you got two things that are going for them. One, Palestra is a great coach. He gets them there all the time, and Jimmy Butler. And you know what?
You know what? They're going to be outmanned. And you know what?
You know what? They were
Michael
outmanned by the
Malone's a great
Celtics
coach too. He's a great coach too.
I know, but they were outmanned by the Celtics.
Yeah.
So if everybody talked about here's the team that finished with the second best record in the NBA.
Yeah.
And
So
the
do you
team
think
that just
everyone in
went
Boston is going to be rooting for the Nuggets?
I don't think people in Boston care at this point. I really don't.
Yeah.
I think if you talk to a lot
I
of
wanna
people
see
and
the
Bruins
Nuggets. I wanna
fans,
see
I
the
think
Nuggets
they'd want the Panthers to win
Yeah.
because we let Cassidy go.
Well, that's the other thing I was going to bring up. I mean, with the setting of, with Vegas eliminating the Stars now, sets up a Vegas versus Panthers Stanley Cup final, and it's a conundrum from Bruins fans, I think. Do you root for the team that knocked you out, or do you root for the coach who took you there last year?
Well, I think they won't. I think the Bruins fans will vote, would like to see the Panthers win because they knocked the Bees out, and not see Vegas win because of the fact that Cassidy's the head coach.
Right.
And we had him. What Cassidy does that will offset the Panthers is he's a good defensive coach. He's an excellent defensive coach.
Right.
And this team, look at the sixth game, the last game that they played against Dallas. In Dallas, incidentally. Shut them out.
Yeah. Jason Robertson is an unbelievable scorer. I mean, they've had some.
I mean, Marchand, they get some. Yeah. They got some players, and they're a complete team. And I think Cassidy's is a much better defensive coach.
Yeah.
What the Panthers haven't seen, what the Bruins kind of collapsed a little on defense. So.
No doubt. And I mean, and as you mentioned, now South Florida becomes the hub of the sporting universe because you're going to have the NBA Finals and the Stanley Cup Finals going on there simultaneously.
You're talking about a reverse thing. The Bruins and the Celtics should have been in the finals, and
right.
now you got the Panthers and the Heat.
Right.
So, I mean, both from Florida, both from Boston.
And we were all planning that we were going to have an unbelievable June here in Boston with the Cup Finals going on at the same time. People were thinking about, hey, what do they have? A double duck boat celebration. What would happen in this town?
The only difference between the Panthers and the hockey and the hockey's an emotional game. And the Panthers, when they came to Boston and they won a couple of games, they finished 8th like everybody. They just barely got into the playoffs. But when they start to click, I mean, teams now start to go. You only got 7 games. You lose 2, and you lose 2 at home. It's tough to win.
It's tough to win.
And you know what? I mean, let's seg to the other thing, because I'm pretty stupid. I watched the Red Sox last night.
Al, you're a glutton for punishment.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, though.
They did come back.
Well, they come back, but Cora, I know he liked when players love him and everything, but Tristan Casas is not a hitter. He doesn't belong. I know he's hit 6 home runs, but he come up last night with a chance to win the game. The Red Sox were trailing 9-8 at that point. He's the last guy up, and he strikes out again.
Would you have pinched hit for him?
Yeah, I would have.
Who would you put?
It depends. I forget who was pitching. If it was a lefty, I would have put Ref Snyder in there because he hits lefties.
Yeah.
But the kid's got a big swing, and if he doesn't slow that down, he's going to strike out as much as anybody.
Are you concerned at all with the struggles of Devers right now?
No, I'm not concerned with him. I'll tell you who's killing them a little. I hate to say it because I liked him. It's Kiki. Yeah. Kiki made a couple of errors last night, and he's not a shortstop. He belongs in center field or second base.
Right.
Probably center field because it's a little less vulnerable out there.
Yeah.
Trevor's story over there would have helped him big time. So that's a big question of when he comes back, where he plays.
But they're looking at maybe Adam Duvall gets back into.
Well, if Duvall gets in, he's going to play center field. I mean, there's no question.
And he was like a hot bat.
Yeah, and Duran screwed up on a play last night as well. So the Red Sox are making a lot of mistakes. The pitching is up and down, up and
it's a
down.
roller coaster.
The relief pitching which was very good, now is a little up and down, up and down. So I think the Red Sox are pretty much what we'd come to expect. They're a little better than a 500 team, but not much better than a 500 team.
And I'm afraid now in last place in a very difficult American League East.
Well, they lose to Arizona against. I mean, Arizona's a good hitting team, but they lose 3 games after they started the trip okay, and then they come home, play Cincinnati, and they looked almost comatose at the start of the game.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Devers, I think, I don't worry about Devers because he's a production kid, even with hitting 248 or whatever he's hitting now. He's still got 13 home runs. He still leads the team in RBIs. He's better at third than he's been. Although I will say this, the kid there that I keep forgetting his first name there, the kid they got from the Dodgers that
Justin Turner.
Justin Turner.
He's bat. He can hit.
And he can play third.
Yeah.
He's a ball player.
Yeah.
And I was surprised. I think we talked about this. He has a 288 lifetime batting average, so he's not. This isn't a fluke.
No.
This kid can
He's a hitter.
play. Now, I did notice that Dahlbeck's hitting 294 down at the Woo Sox.
Yeah.
So he's hitting. Now,
But he's not hitting major league pitching.
no, that's true. But he wasn't even hitting with the Woo Sox other than home runs. And if this kid, Tristan, continues to hit the way he's hitting in key situations, you can't play him.
Yeah. It's going to be unbelievable.
McGuire is a surprise to me of how good a hitter he is, the catcher.
Yeah.
And they've got 2 catchers that can hit.
Connor Wong has shown
Connor
that he
Wong's
can.
got power for a little guy. He don't
Yeah.
look that big, but he's got some power. Thunder in
Jaron
his
Duran
bat.
showed some power too. He's
Yeah,
shown some power.
he's a surprise to me too, because I didn't think he could ever hit. I thought he was a bunt guy.
Yeah, he reminds me a lot of
Catcher.
Jacoby Ellsbury in the back in the day.
Well, another interesting thing that's going on is on the golf scene. And a lot of people, this whole live thing about the Ryder Cup has become interesting because, they talked to Nicholas this week. The tournament's at Memorial where it's his, and he I don't think he wants I think he said he didn't believe the live players should be included.
Yeah.
But Rahm said something interesting. He said that not having the best players on your team, because it's really Europe against America. It's not the PGA against the LIV.
Right.
And I think he's right because he said, Sergio Garcia's won more Ryder Cup matches than anybody.
Right.
And he can't play. So I think that's a
Yeah.
controversy that you need to talk about.
Yeah.
And
Well,
the
we'll
other
look
thing
into that.
on-
But another important thing we've got to do here is to recognize my main man, Al Prezzuti, on your birthday.
55.
we had a special delivery here from my main man, Shane. Oh. Here we go. Look
I
at this.
just turned 55.
55, and he still can't drive. Congratulations. Happy birthday, Al.
Thank you, sir.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Al.
I'll put that down now.
Happy birthday to my main man. All right. Happy birthday, Al.
Thank you.
Yeah. In good health, man. Well, that's it for us. We want to thank everyone for joining us. We want to extend our congratulations and well wishes, Milton High class of 2023. All righty, everyone. That'll do it for us. And we look forward to seeing you next time here on Stepping Up to the Plate. Take care, everyone.